Let's see what it answers. Go. Whoa. This number 3 is not true. Minasan konnichiwa, and welcome to Let's Ask Shogo. ChatGPT has been going viral in Japan too. And there's a lot of people on YouTube as well using ChatGPT to learn Japanese or asking questions about themselves and so on and so forth. And of course, as a person who's trying to become a Japanese language instructor and going to school right now, I thought trying to learn Japanese from ChatGPT might be a good idea, but there's already a lot of other people doing that. So what I want to do today is using ChatGPT and asking him questions about Japanese traditional culture, especially about katana, samurai, so on and so forth, about topics that I've already made in my channel, and see how ChatGPT answers my questions. And of course, as I always say, I'm not trying to say here that the things that I talk about is always accurate or correct or not. I just want to see what ChatGPT would answer, and I know that there's going to be a lot more people in the future who's going to be asking questions about Japanese traditional culture or katana or samurai to it. So let's see what it says, and I would like to react to it. In this channel, you can take a closer look at Japanese traditional culture, tips on traveling to Kyoto, and social problems in Japan. So learners and lovers of Japanese language culture, be sure to subscribe to enjoy more content. So then, let's ask ChatGPT. So here we are, this is ChatGPT. The first question I'd like to ask it is, what is the difference between katana and a tachi? What is the difference between a katana and a tachi? Let's see what it answers. Go. Whoa, that's very long. Let's take a look at it. Both katana and tachi are Japanese swords that were used by samurai in feudal Japan, but they're different in design and usage. Exactly. Katana is a long single-edged sword with a curved blade that was primarily used for cutting. It was worn with the cutting edge facing up and was used for close combat. The length of the blade typically ranges from 60 centimeters to 80 centimeters, and the total length of the sword can be around 100 centimeters to 110 centimeters. Okay, so far so good. On the other hand, tachi is also a long single-edged sword with a curved blade, but is designed to be worn with the cutting edge facing down. Yep. It was primarily used as a cavalry sword, and the length of the blade typically ranges from 70 centimeters to 80 centimeters, and the total length of the sword can be around 100 and 110 centimeters. Isn't that the same? 70 to 80 for the tachi, but the total length is almost about the same. Well, if you're going to be talking about the average length, the tachi should be longer, by the way, in general. Another difference between katana and tachi is their usage during battle. While katana was primarily used in close combat, exactly, tachi was used by samurais on horseback. That's correct. Its design made it easier to draw the sword quickly and effectively while mounted. Yes, that's exactly correct. That's the reason why the sharp edge is facing downwards, and it should also explain that the biggest difference is not only that it's facing the sharp edge is facing up or down, is that it's actually worn on your waist differently too. The reason why a uchi katana that goes through your obi belt is better to have the sharp edge upwards is because easier to draw. On the other hand, the tachi is hanging on your waist using equipment, so it's easier for you to have this sharp edge facing down. And again, as it explains, that's meant because you're riding on a horse. If you have a katana in your obi belt, that's impossible, because in most cases, you'd be wearing samurai armor that doesn't have an obi belt on the outside like we do in regular kimono. Most of the information isn't wrong, but it's not that super accurate either, to be honest. It's not wrong, but it's not like enough, either. I'm pretty sure you have to continue asking more questions for it to be more accurate. And next, I'd like to ask them another question. This is a video that actually blew up on my channel. What are the differences between ninja and shinobi? Ooh, it's pretty long as well. Let's see. Ninja and shinobi are two terms that refer to the same group of people in feudal Japan who were skilled in espionage, assassination, and guerrilla warfare. However, there are some differences between the two terms, okay? Ninja is a more popular and well-known term, especially in the Western world. And it refers to a member of secretive and highly skilled groups of warriors who are trained in unconventional warfare tactics, such as infiltration, sabotage, and assassination. The term ninja is also associated with popular culture and is portrayed in movies, video games, and other media, has contributed to its widespread popularity. That's almost 100% correct. Shinobi, on the other hand, is a less well-known term that is used more commonly in Japan. Well, kind of. But even in Japan too, we probably say more ninja than shinobi, to be honest. It also refers to a member of the same group of warriors as a ninja, but it has a more specific meaning. The term shinobi comes from the verb shinobu, which means to steal away or to hide. And it emphasizes groups' covert operations and stealthy approach to warfare. Another difference between the two terms is that the ninja were known for their distinctive black clothing, while shinobi were more likely to blend in with their surroundings and wear regular civilian clothes. Well, that really does depend. What I explained in my video between the the two terms ninja and shinobi is that shinobi is a word that existed from ancient times to refer to these spies and people who did secret jobs, basically. Ninja, on the other hand, this word was born after all the ninjas were gone. And when shinobi actually existed in Japan, there were a lot of different ways of referring to them. Obviously, if you call a spy the same way in every prefecture in Japan, they wouldn't be spies, right? There's no this is right or this is wrong or anything. It's just different ways of referring to them in different time periods or different places. So it doesn't mean that ninja wore always black costumes. Some people even say that they didn't even wear black, but it was dark blue. And shinobi blended into surroundings? No, probably a lot of, well, people who refer to me as ninjas today probably did that as well. Okay, so then I'd like to ask the next question. This is also a video topic that got really popular on my channel. The taboos and things you shouldn't do at a Japanese onsen hot spring. I'd like to ask ChatGPT. What are the taboos at a Japanese public onsen hot spring? But to be honest, no, the way you write the sentence, the question, or the words you choose, the grammar and everything does affect the answer, obviously. So I'm not trying to say that ChatGPT is a bad system or anything. I'm just trying to enjoy what it answers. All right. Ooh, wow, there's a lot. Number 1, tattoos. Yeah, I talked about this too. In Japan, tattoos are often associated with organized crime, and many hot springs have a strict no tattoo policy. If you have a visible tattoo, you may be asked to leave or covered up with a bandage or clothing. That's true, to be honest. Even today in Japan, most public onsens will not allow people with tattoos, or they will ask you to completely cover it up and hide it. Number 2, bathing attire. In most onsen, you're required to bathe naked, and it's considered rude to wear any clothing or bathing suit in the water. Yes, that is true too, and I also talked about this as well. You'll be given a small towel to cover private areas while moving around, but it should not be used in the water. That's exactly true. It's considered filthy, and it's just not simply in our culture to wear clothes when we go into the onsen, and also the towel too. The towel that you use might have some filthiness in it. Of course, our bodies, of course, may not be clean, and that's the reason why it also matters that you take a shower before you go into the onsen hot springs, but nothing else should go inside. 3, hygiene. Before entering a hot spring, it is customary to wash your body thoroughly with soap. That's exactly what I just explained. In water to ensure that the water stays clean for everyone. You should also rinse off any excess soap before entering the hot spring. Exactly. That's completely true. 4, noise. Onsen are places of relaxation, and visitors are expected to keep their voices down and avoid loud conversations or noises that can disturb others. Absolutely true. Especially because at onsens, there are a lot of elderly who go there. If you are very loud at an onsen, there are some grumpy elderly that will literally scream at your face or yell at your face. So yes, this is also very important too, that you keep it quiet. Number 5, drinking and eating. It's considered impolite to bring food or drinks to the hot spring area is cause a mess and attract insects. If you brought something to eat or drink to a public bath, that would be terrible. Yeah, I've never heard of anyone doing that before. Number 6, electronic devices. You should avoid using electronic devices such as phones or cameras in the hot spring areas, as they can disturb the tranquility of the atmosphere. Absolutely not. And that's not the only reason why you'll be destroying your electronics as well. The onsen hot springs are not just water, right? They have a lot of other minerals in it, and even just the gas that's coming out of the hot spring area could damage your electronic devices badly. So you should absolutely not bring it in. That's number 1. And number 2, of course, is for privacy. You are not allowed to film anything in public baths, obviously. You don't want to have someone filming you either, right? So absolutely a huge taboo. So I think this is great. This is an amazing list of things that you shouldn't do. I mean, like the last few ones are pretty obvious, but the first few ones I think are very educational. You know, because I asked the taboos at a Japanese public onsen, I thought I could ask the taboos about katanas as well. I also made a video about this. What are the taboos when handling a Japanese katana? Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, that's quite a lot. 1, touching the blade with bare hands. Absolutely. The blade of a katana is made of steel and can easily be damaged by oils or acids present in your skin. Therefore, it's considered disrespectful to touch a blade with your bare hands. Absolutely. You should not do this. I actually sell katana at Yushinkan, Kyoto. Whenever we have our guests see the katana, this is the first thing that I tell them. Please never ever touch the blade with your hands. That's just very, very bad for the katana. Number 2, using the katana for non-combat purposes. The katana is a weapon and should be treated with respect. Using it for non-combat purposes, such as chopping wood or opening boxes, is considered disrespectful and can damage the blade. Well, yeah, I guess so, but there's a lot of people who do a lot of experiments on katana, right? There are people who cut fruits or vegetables or cut steel or even try to break the katana for experiments. And like, from my point of view, is like a bad thing? wouldn't want someone doing it with a katana that was handmade by a Japanese katana swordsmith who had license and such. But if they want to try it out on, for example, a cheaper katana made from a cheaper steel, I personally would say it's completely okay. I mean, just to check the physics and such. Number 3, placing the katana on the ground. Okay, placing the katana on the ground is considered disrespectful and can damage the blade or the saya. You should always place the katana on a stand or a suitable surface. This number 3 is not true. For example, if you're training in katana skills like I am, like Yai or Kenjutsu and such, there are a lot of timings where you put the katana down on the floor. For example, when you want to do the sitting kata, when you're doing the katana bowing, for example, there's a lot of chances where you put the katana on the floor and it's not disrespectful or anything. The disrespectful thing that you can do to a katana is stepping over it. Stepping over a katana that's on the floor or on the ground, this is disrespectful because, as I always explain, katana was called the soul of the samurai. It was a big privilege, a symbol that you were a samurai, so you need to treat it properly. 4, crossing two katanas. Crossing two katanas is considered bad luck and can be interpreted as a sign of disrespect or hostility. It is also believed to bring bad luck and misfortune. Okay, this is absolutely not something I've talked about before. What does it mean, crossing two katana? Like on the wall or something? Because, you know, in, for example, Kenjutsu training, we cross our katanas many times to do the training. Does it bring bad luck every time? No. Maybe you're saying when you like put it up on the wall with the swords crossed, that's a bad thing? Well, yeah, that absolutely, is it a bad thing? It's just something you wouldn't do usually. Number 5, pointing a katana at someone. Pointing a katana at someone, even as a joke, is considered a serious offense and can be interpreted as a sign of aggression. This is true. For example, if you know about Yaijutsu, Kenjutsu skills, there's this stance called the Seigan stance, which is the most basic stance that we do in our training. This is meant to point towards the opponent's eyes as a stance as a martial art. So in this case, that's completely fine because it's a part of training. But otherwise, if you just point katana at someone just to goof around and such, that's definitely not good for your safety. And it's also considered very rude too. And number 6, cleaning the katana improperly. Cleaning the katana is an important part of its maintenance, which should be done with care and respect. Using the wrong cleaning tools or techniques can damage the blade or the saya. This is 100% correct, but is it like a taboo? I mean, if you just don't clean it properly, you're just destroying your own katanas. I guess in a way it's a taboo. It's something that you should be aware of, but it's just something that you should do to keep your katana in a good state. Then I'd like to ask it another question. What is the difference between seppuku and harakiri? I don't know if ChatGPT can answer this question. Maybe it can't answer any questions related to harakiri and seppuku, because of course it is a topic related to life and death. Okay, let's see if it can answer or not. Oh, it can answer it. Harakiri and seppuku are two terms that are often used interchangeably to refer to the same act of self-disembowelment that was practiced by Japanese samurai. However, there are some differences between the two terms. Seppuku is the more formal and polite term that was used by samurai to refer to the act of self-disembowelment. I can't read it properly. It was often performed as a form of capital punishment or as a way for a samurai to restore their honor after committing a serious offense. The act of seppuku involved the samurai cutting open their abdomen with a sharp sword known as a tanto, and then being beheaded by a second person. Exactly. Harakiri, on the other hand, is more colloquial and direct term that is used to describe the same act of disembowelment. It was often used by common people to refer to the act and is considered less formal and polite than the term seppuku. Another difference between the two terms is that harakiri was often used to refer to a suicide that does not relate to samurai culture, such as suicide committed by a commoner or a non-Japanese person. This is, so far from my studyings, is 100% correct. Harakiri literally means to cut open a stomach. Seppuku is talking also about the culture, for example, related to the samurai involved in the act of cutting your stomach. Overall, while the terms harakiri and seppuku are often used interchangeably to refer to the act of self-disembowelment, seppuku is considered the more formal and polite term that was used by samurai, while harakiri is more colloquial term that was often used by common people to describe the same act. Very good job, ChatGPT. I think this is a wonderful answer. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I had a lot of fun asking ChatGPT a lot of questions, and it's amazing how it can give you like answers in like a few seconds. And of course, some of the information might be slightly off, and some information might not be completely necessary, but I still think if you have any questions about Japan, it will give you like a 80%, 90% accuracy information about it. So if you have any questions, I think asking Let's Ask ChatGPT will be a very good idea as well. But please, at the same time, don't forget about Let's Ask Shogo. If you have any questions about Japan, please again, as always, let me know in the comments or let me know in the DMs. I'll be happy to try to make a video about that topic too. And by the way, I'm doing a lot of other activities like doing online lessons and selling merchandise, etc. And I have a lot of goals going on right at the same time now. So if you're interested, please do take a look at the description box or pinned comment and find out all about them. And I'll see you in the next video, everyone. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. どうもありがとうございました。